an unfortunate timing today with today at noon Eastern. He had a little bit of an issue there, so we hope you can join us at some point during this rant. But today, folks, I'm going to talk about what happened to the sales profession, salespeople, and what's wrong with our impression of them. So let me put back that image that I posted yesterday on Facebook. Because when you think of a salesperson, so many of us look at that picture and say, yeah, that's it. It's actually kind of sad. It's actually kind of scary. It's actually kind of unfortunate. For 30 years, I have been in sales. I actually run a great, phenomenal sales team at my company. We're growing, we're expanding. It's a phenomenal team. And when somebody asks me my title, a lot of kind of stuff, people want me to embellish it. The reality is I'm not interested in embellishing. I am a salesman. Doesn't matter my title, whether it's a VP, a director, blah, 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 sales and marketing, whatever. In truth, I am a salesman. And in truth, so is almost anybody else who's an entrepreneur, runs a company, represents a company. You are a salesperson. I am really, when you hear people trying to embellish the term, with evangelical or, other types of titles. So here's the thing. Why? What happened to this so-called profession of ours? Why did we lose the respect to the sales industry? Well, it's actually kind of frightening. Okay. Hey, Stuart, thanks for joining us. Just starting here. So let me tell you a little bit of a background about what's going on with sales. And it's actually scary to see what's been happening. First things first, this whole notion of the slime dog that I just put up on screen here, let me put him right back on screen, is what you think of. Because if you remember movies like True Lies, where Bill Paxton played the used car salesman who tried to get Arnold Schwarzenegger to buy the convertible, that's what you think of salespeople. People who are trying to rob you, steal from you, make you buy something you're not interested in. But in reality, that's not what salespeople are all about. But we've watched our fair share of movies. We've watched our fair share of, videos and whatever. We've had our own experiences. And Stuart, you know what? I don't know what happened to people, but they're almost embarrassed to say that they are a salesperson. What's your take, man?
Listen, let's first start out and understand where the salesperson comes from. And the modern salesperson, they were peddlers, right? Those were salespeople. They were merchants. They were traders. They were all these things. And to be honest with you, there were gold traders, pelt traders. The North America was founded off of the fur trade, right? So when we talk about salespeople, it's really the tradesmen, the tradespeople, which aren't the builders, right? People think tradespeople, they think of people building, right? But it's not the case. I think that the world has forgotten that I don't know any profession that they don't sell. They don't teach doctors how to sell, but they got to sell to get patients. People in politics have got to sell. Well, they sell a lot more shit than most. CEOs got to sell because they got to sell their board. So my take is that the world has forgotten about the salesperson and their lack of respect. And I think that the modern school system has failed immensely.
Oh, you have no idea. And I got to tell you.
I do have an idea. I went to school. So did you.
Look, we both got our undergraduates in another era. I mean, we were in the 20th century, right? So you would think that things would evolve, right?
And they did evolve.
Let me tell you something.
Welfare, unemployment, food stamps.
My rant today, and people are saying, who are you going to get angry at, David? I'm going to tell you who I'm getting angry at. It's the school system. I am furious with the school system, and it starts early on, but I'm not going to absolve parents of this yet, but let me start with high school. When my youngest son came to me and he was organizing a career fair and he was talking to me about all these engineers, doctors, accountants, lawyers, all the people that they were inviting to him. And I said, you know what? I'm offended. Why are you inviting all these wonderful people, but you're forgetting about people like me who generate the revenue for people like them? And he's like, you know what? That's a good point. And I'm saying I don't want to be invited. Okay, I did it for a couple of years because they realized, oh, maybe we should talk about sales. But when I had the parents in the room with the kids, and again, this is high school, I mean, they looked at me like, ew, like almost slimy. Like in today's day and age, why do I need to do that? Well, if you don't do that, how in the hell are you going to put a business plan in front of somebody and sell the business plan? How are you going to go to the bank and get a loan if you don't sell them on the idea? It's not just a career. It's an art. It's a talent. It's a necessity. And early on, we're not even talking about in high school. Now I'm going to go into universities. And this is what infuriates me. We're telling people about their career paths at the university level. And you know what? When I went back from my MBA, I went back 9 years ago to go get my MBA. So I'm 51, I'm 42. I go into this program. I've said this before in other rants, and there is not a thing about revenue generation. Everything else to do about the business is spoken, presented, discussed in ridiculous detail. And when I raised my hand and said, excuse me, instead of talking about revenue on the accounting part of the program, where are we to talk about it from an actual practical point of view? And the answer was, oh, we don't do that here. We'll do a little bit in the marketing. We'll talk about sales and marketing, but that's not part of the program. I was like, lost my mind. In Canada, you would be hard pressed to find a university program that offers sales courses, let alone a program. I am happy to say for American universities, there are over 1,000 American universities, but barely 100 of them offer anything to do with sales, and less than half of them offer a minor in sales as part of their business program.
Do you know why?
Why? No, it's more than money.
There's
I know.
no money in it. There's no money in it.
No, actually,
Alumni
no.
don't want to pay money.
No. You see, I'll give you an example, my friend, and this is something that I'm gonna put a shout out. I'm gonna put a shout out to Elon University. Elon University. I didn't even hear about this school until about 6-7 years ago, and my son went there. And you know what? They actually raised money for a program to do with sales. Absolutely. They did have a program for sales, Stuart. They raised money, and there is money to be had. And so they opened up a minor under a family name, but there is money. But it's idiotic to tell me that, if we don't have money, we're not going to talk about one of the most fundamental parts of business. Like, where are people? You're going in for your BCom. You're going in for, other things. What are you, nuts? Are you telling me that we're not going to teach students how to sell at all?
No, they're not. And the funny thing is, again, you have to go back to where did this all come from? And again, this began, modern was out of England. There was different organizations, right? That were salesman associations.
Yep.
That there was notoriety being a part of a salesman and a salesman association. But the universities don't make the money because they don't want to pay the money. People think that you're going to learn to sell one day at a time from the guy before you.
Oh, it's crap. You know what? It's garbage. And I'll tell you why it's garbage. And I'm going to give a shout out to the University of Texas in this one, because this is something that I didn't know what they do, but I'm going to give them a shout out. I'm really surprised with them. Check them out, University of Texas. Not only do they teach you selling, but they also teach you how to sell yourself, how to sell yourself to a recruiter, how to sell yourself to at an interview. And you could say, oh, that's crude. Why should I sell myself? What the hell do you think you're doing? my resume should just be enough to be? Absolutely not. My resume is a piece of paper. But when I'm talking about myself and I'm presenting myself, I'm selling what I can do for an organization. And yet to completely ignore it? No. No, that's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm sorry to say, but you know what? The classroom has to be the starting point.
Should be, but it's not.
You know,
It's not.
there's a university out in North Carolina, not a very well reputed university, and and a lot of people will be upset with me for even bringing them up. But one thing, when I visited at that school with one of my kids, one thing that impressed me was that the dean of the school was a former sales guru. And his attitude was, we're going to convert the school in a way to make it comfortable for people to sell. Now, again, it's a different way of phrasing convince or whatever, but not coerce. But he wanted to make sure that people can present a business plan. He wanted to make sure that people, when they're sitting on a plane, back in the good old days, right? That they were next to somebody. And it was like, holy crap, this person is someone that I could do business with. What are you supposed to do? Sit like an idiot? Not talk? Not be able to go into like what you do, connect, this network? None of this is taught. And this school did. Now, they had some other incidences, which is why I'm not talking about the school, and I'm really, I'm weary of promoting the school in any way, shape, or form. They had it was just not pretty. But when we visited it, I wanted to teach there. I would have loved to have taught sales at that program because that philosophy is something I espouse to. But I am furious with universities and who say, we don't need to do this. Stuart, I'm sorry to tell you, but if you look today, even at the technology world today, okay, another shout out to these companies, because these companies today are looking for salespeople nationwide in the United States. These are tech companies. Everybody's saying tech.
Yeah, but they don't listen. They want to pay programmers. Every profession, they're going to pay them a decent wage.
They're going to close the business. They're going to close the business. I'm telling you, this is the worst idea, is to tell people who are revenue generators for a company, you're not worthy. Okay? I'm not going to talk about compensations today. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. But I know that. Okay? I've seen this with startups. I've seen this with other companies where they go out and they say, well, that's what they taught me in university. I need to have a technology and it's going to sell itself. I'll make a software as a service. It'll be self-subscribing, or I'll be like Amazon where it's a catalog that's gazillions of items. They killed the sales. But you know what? I want to tell you something. We still need salespeople. You still need customer service people. They're still salespeople. Again, I talked about in one of my previous rants about Zappos, about the customer service. Yeah. Guys, they are selling your company. And if there is no way to teach people to do it right, who is going to do it for you? My worry is 10, 20 years from now, there'll be no salespeople. You'll be saying, where are we going to find salespeople? Well, do we have to bring them in from other countries? Because in other countries, they still actually have salespeople? Oh, come on, guys. We do business locally, across our countries, internationally. I do business around the world, for God's sakes. Okay? You don't do selling right, you have no business. Okay? You said about a doctor. When I spoke to my chiropractor, let's not all jump on me that I go to a chiropractor, and I asked him, and your 5-year chiropractic program, do they teach you anything about running your business? And we talked about selling. He goes, there was barely a minute to discuss how we should generate business. You open up your door, you put up a shingle, and voila, people are flocking to your business. That's not it at all. And shame on the marketing departments who are sitting here talking only about big data and talking about social media and all this kind of crap. You are losing perspective. And it's, again, these archaic universities from Ivy League down. You're losing your perspective, and shame on you. And I'm pissed off at you because it continues to be this traditional attitude. Tradition, throw it out the window, people. Wake up! The programs are dead. The programs are archaic. And you know what? You aren't going to get alumni money because you know what? They're going to realize you let me down. I
But
open up
that's
a
the thing,
business and I
JK,
can't
alumni money.
generate revenue.
Where is the alumni coming from? It's not coming from the salespeople. It's
No, you know
coming from
what?
the
Yeah,
professionals
no,
who
but you know
think
what?
they're hoity-toity.
But your CEOs who are smart and understand rev generation are going to say, you know what? I learned that at that school. Here's my money. You know what? They're going to realize that the universities let them down. It's fascinating to watch how smaller universities and colleges woke up to this. The bigger ones are still in the dark ages. Stuart, you know what time it is?
It's 14 minutes. You have a whole minute more to rant.
Oh, no, sir. I'm at 16. I was on a couple of minutes before you, so we are well past our time. Folks, I want to thank you all very much. Listen, the Rant Network is exploding. We have all of a sudden, last few weeks, more and more people loving what we're doing, the comments, the feedback. We're gone international where people from other countries have actually commented and reached out to us personally. So please share what we do here on Facebook. Check it out at therantnetwork.com. Stuart.
What are we talking about on Friday?
Well, Friday, we're going to have a guest to join us to talk about the restaurant industry. Did the government on both sides of our borders kill the restaurant industry thanks to COVID? Or are they going to make COVID the excuse? We'll be back on Friday, noon Eastern, to discuss this and rant about it. And we look forward to having you there. Have a great week, everybody. See you all next week. See you all on Friday at noon. Cheers.
Cheers.